about the fact that man is a sinner and needs a savior, and that savior is Jesus Christ. We can say that here, and we're not going to be canceled. So I'm grateful for it. We're going to continue to use the other platforms, but we need to, especially listener-supported Christian radio. Let me encourage you to support Christian radio. Those that are for-profit, that have advertisers, support the advertisers, but we need Christian radio in America. All right, some good news, and there's a lot of good news. All right, the Washington Examiner wrote a recent piece about a Virginia parent who confronted Loudoun County's now notorious school board back in January of 2021 and told them very strongly to get their act together or to get out, because there are people like me and a lot of others out there who would gladly take your seat and figure it out. That was a quote. Well, the frustrated father of four is now taking things into his own hands and is running for Congress. The father is Brandon Michon. He is one of many, many examples of parents fed up with their local school boards, and they're using that frustration not simply to curse the darkness, but to shine light in a place that, quite frankly, needs a little light. Join me now to talk more about this and what's happening really all across the country and how you can be a part of it is FRC Senior Fellow for Education Studies, Meg Kilgannon. Meg, welcome back to the program.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks, it's great to be here.
Well, you know what? You're always bringing good news. We're talking about good news stories a lot of times because we're talking about the bad things that are happening in public education, the indoctrination that's taking place. But the good news is parents are pushing back, and they're no longer standing on the sidelines.
Yes, we are not content with saying things at the school board meeting. Parents are stepping up and engaging in so many different ways, and these gentlemen that we have examples of who are running for office, you know, we talk a lot about the mama bear and the moms on the move, Moms for Liberty, and I'm a mom and I love moms, and I know how, as a mom, I know how much kids need their father. And it's so great to see their fathers standing up as well. The original iteration of this was with Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson in North Carolina, and he spoke at a Board of Supervisors meeting, and then that propelled him to higher office eventually. And so to see these fathers speaking out at school board meetings and then making the decision to run for office, it's just really wonderful to see. Brandon Michon is a great example, and so is another candidate in North Carolina. They really add a lot to the debate.
Yeah, and this coming from the Washington Examiner, and I want to plug them because they're reporting on this while the AP and others are dismissive of parents who are standing up. There are other conservative publications that are telling these stories. And so we see this around the country. You've been a part of hosting these school board boot camps, candidate training for school board and other races, but primarily for the school boards. And hundreds of people have participated in those. And in fact, before we run out of time, I just want you to put in a plug for that because that information is still available online for those that still may be considering running.
Absolutely. You can find our school board boot camp at www.frcaction.org/schools, and I'm sure you have it at tonyperkins.com. But there is a school board boot camp there. We have information about how to file a FOIA. We have an election report where we talk to parents who ran for school board and 3 who won and 1 who didn't. And we really get into the nuts and bolts of actually how to run a campaign and how to run, what to expect. Those are great resources I think people will find helpful.
And I think when parents show up to whether it's a school board meeting or city council meeting and they speak, they realize that the folks sitting on the other side of the dais are just normal people, just like them. And they have the ability to do what they're doing. And if they won't do it right, they can replace them. And I can tell you, as one who has been involved, been a candidate, been a part of many campaigns, running for local office is not difficult. You do your homework, and that's a part of the training we have. You do your homework, you put things together, and success is within your reach. Passion is really what carries the day. When you have a calling and a passion and you're willing to take a stand and not worry about what the media or others think, you can accomplish a whole lot.
You sure can. And it is not as heavy a lift in some cases as running for a higher level office, because so often these local races are at odd times of the year. They have school board races happening in May and in August and other times that you don't think of. And that means the turnout is low. And so your involvement with churches and community organizations can really make the difference to win.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Very good point. Meg Kilgannon, always great to talk with you. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Tony.